Hey everyone, Tanner Bell here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm the founder of makersgonnalearn.com, a digital die cutting community to help you stay creative with your die cutting machine. We have resources including digital cut files, fonts, e-courses, printable guides, all around using your die cutting machine and helping you stay creative and empowered with the machine. So in today's video, we're answering one of our most asked questions via email and that we get asked on the comments of the YouTube channel. And it's when you should change your Cricut blade. And it's such a controversial topic for people because let me tell you and be completely honest, this depends on you. So we're going to share with you a few different situations on when it is going to kind of let you know that you need to change that Cricut blade. And then in the end of the video, we're going to tell you just some really great, Cricut maintenance on when you should as well. So be sure to enjoy some of these tips and little things to look for that could kind of prompt you to know, hey, this blade needs to be changed. Number one, when you have been using more pressure for a prolonged period, meaning we love telling you guys to use more pressure. It gives those deeper cuts, it gives those better quality cuts. But if you've been using more pressure for 2 months with the same blade and you're starting to see that it's just doing mediocre results, maybe it's time to change that blade. You know what I mean? You can just pop in a new blade. And then one tip I have, if you've been accustomed to using more pressure, you may have to lay off of using more pressure for the first few weeks just because it's going to be such a sharp blade and it is definitely going to cut through. We've had instances where we've just been in our head, more pressure for vinyl, more pressure for iron-on, and it actually has cut through the backer of our vinyl as well as the transfer of the heat transfer vinyl. So be careful with that, and when you put in that new blade, hopefully you will not be having to touch more pressure for quite some time. One thing we want to note is that once you have changed that blade, we've had some members say, oh, I'm going to hang on to this, maybe I can get use out of it later. Our tip is if you're changing that blade, go ahead and toss that dull blade and just continue using that newer one. They're not terribly expensive, and your chances are you're not going to find, tips for reusing that dull blade again. I'm sure you got many uses out of it, many cuts and things like that. What we found happens is that you may get confused on which is your dull blade, and you actually thought it was a nice new sharp blade, so you'll change it out, and then you could waste some really awesome material that you've invested money into by using that dull blade thinking it's a new blade. And we've even seen users blame the machine when it's really they accidentally ended up using a dull blade. So let's just make sure to organize those nice fresh blades together, and let's toss those dull blades so you're not having to even worry about the possibility of it. Next up, if you are having a hard time weeding vinyl, and you guys know what I mean, if you're just like, oh my gosh, it is not cutting through all the way, you're not getting those perfect cut lines, and you're not able to weed like you normally would, it is usually just needing a fresh blade. We have switched to putting in new blades a lot more often just because we want to get those really great cuts. And with getting those really great cuts, that means you're going to save lots of time weeding. You're going to get really deep, thorough cuts, which are going to help you in the weeding process. So if you're having trouble weeding those intricate projects or really any project in general, maybe it's time to change that blade. Next up, if you are cutting some really intricate things, maybe thinner cardstocks, maybe vellum, anything like that, and you find that that blade is dragging, that is another great indication on material that you know it should be able to cut. Is time to change the blade. You want to have that nice sharp blade so you're able to get great results on all of your material. And remember, the more that you have a nice fresh blade, the better cut results and the less material you are going to waste, especially on those thinner, more delicate and intricate materials. You want to make sure to have that nice fresh blade every single time. Again, guys, keeping that fresh blade is not only going to save material, it's also going to save time. If you spend 20 to 30 minutes additionally trying to weed a project that really just could use a nice fresh blade and you could have those flawless results weeding, I would much rather have that. You know what I mean? So that is a huge, benefit to changing that blade out. Chances are you're going to save time and you're going to save material from being wasted. I know when I've used a dull blade on some thinner cardstock trying to do some delicate little cutouts, it has been able to drag, and it was really unfortunate that I ended up wasting almost an entire sheet of cardstock. So be sure to keep up with the maintenance of your blade. Now guys, if you are predominantly a paper crafter and you're just cutting 60 to 80 pound cardstock, or maybe even 100 pound cardstock, your blade is probably going to last a little bit longer than someone that's cutting paper, vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, and cutting lots of different things. But it honestly boils down to how often you're using your machine. If you're crafting every single day, you're obviously going to have to change your blade sooner and more often than someone that only crafts on the weekends or anything like that. It is up to you guys, and that's why it's so hard to say a definite time for you guys. But I want to recommend, if you all are looking to be great Cricut owners and maintain your machine at the most, I recommend at the minimum, change that blade out every 2 months. And if you are cutting really often, maybe you'll need to change it in 6 weeks and things like that. So these tips in this video was meant for you guys to use it as reference, because every machine's different, every user's a little bit different on when they feel like they need to change their blade, and it's honestly user choice. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up. In the comments, let us know when you decide to change your Cricut blade. Be sure to check us out at our membership site, makersgonnalearn.com, for more details on how to take advantage and get access to all of the fun perks we have available to members. And again, guys, hit that subscribe button if you're brand new here and you want to find more tips and tricks for using your die cutting machine. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.